What's good, bro? We're back in here, and today I'm gonna be talking about some more Elden Ring. This is a video that I have been wanting to create for like 2 weeks now. Up to this point, I'm basically gonna be giving you guys some tips, some tricks that Elden Ring does not tell you. All right, a lot of you guys are still playing the game, which I absolutely love, but a lot of you guys are playing the game on a harder difficulty than what you need to. And it's because you don't know about these simple things. Some of you guys may already notice some of these things that I mentioned in this video are things that you already have been practicing, which is amazing. However, there are going to be a bunch of things that I'm going to be mentioning over the course of a few videos. It's not just going to be this video. I'm only doing 5 in this video. So if you guys want to check out and hear what I have to say in the near future, definitely make sure to subscribe and turn on that bell notification. But these things should definitely help out a lot of people. Even if you already know the stuff that I'm referring to, maybe you just need a fresh reminder, because I know I do plenty of times while playing this game. My biggest enemy is myself, because I just forget to do the basic stuff I already understand. We're going to be going over 5 things in this video with the honorable mention of this. This is one thing that I have to mention this in the very first video, because so many people forget this. So many people just try to put their head down and go straight through a wall when they don't need to do that. Guys, remember that this game is open world, okay? This game is open world. You can go travel. There are a ton of things that you have not done. If you're stuck and you feel like you've done literally everything within your power to try to get through this crazy brick wall, then just go somewhere else. I'm so serious. Maybe even take a break from PvE, find a friend, do some PvP, that sort of thing. Maybe discuss some things amongst your friends, call in a friend for co-op. There's so many options that you have rather than just ducking your head and going straight through that damn wall, okay? But let's start off with the real number 1 on this list. A lot of people do not do this, even though this is so crucial in my opinion, especially when you're going through dungeons or a dark area or a location where you might get ambushed. Lock on randomly. It sounds so crazy, but the worst that can happen is just that your camera readjusts. And the best that can happen is you see an enemy that you wouldn't have been able to see, and you save your entire run. Maybe you're doing a no-hit run. Maybe you're about to go get your runes or something like that. Maybe you're very low on health. Locking on can literally tell you about stuff that you cannot see. If you feel like there may be enemies around you, or you guys feel like things are a little bit too quiet, lock on real quick. You might find something. And since we're on the topic of randomly locking on, if you randomly lock on in dungeons, a lot of times you'll lock on to one of these annoying, people hate these things. People absolutely hate the imps in this game. I have to say though, their summon is really nice. It kind of carried me through the beginning portion of this game on my first run, but we're not here to praise the imps. We're here to talk trash about them. One of the things that you can do to combat the imps that is not going to cost you any FP, is not going to run you any of the arrows that you may have in your inventory, any of that, is just to simply guard counter them. And I know guard counter is a thing that they tell you to do in the game, but I feel like people don't use it enough. And this is something that works just straight up as a hard counter to majority of the most annoying enemies, and those enemies are, in my opinion, animals and imps. I love dogs, but I hate dogs in this game. I hate birds. I don't really like birds in real life either. They just kind of, you know, I live next to a farm. The chickens wake me up every morning. Anywho, all the animals in this game, the bats, everything, when they run into this shield and you do a guard counter, birds, all of that, they get clapped for the most part, except for these spawns of Satan over here. You gotta hit them with everything you got. A simple guard counter is not just gonna put them on the ground. One thing you could do against these tough enemies is use weapons with status effects, which is the next tip in this video. Guys, use weapons with status effects if you're over here stuck on a boss or a really tough enemy that you need to get by. A lot of these enemies really are just crumbling to status effects like frost, bleed, especially bleed. Oh my god, basically any boss that I feel like has blood, I mean, it's just the one thing that I have to do at this point. I just need to make them bleed, you know? They can't survive without the blood. Sounds simple and stupid at the same time, but like, yeah, that's kind of just how that works. When I fought Renala, I had a little bit of trouble on my new run, on my new character and everything. I had a little bit of trouble until I say, you know what? I'm just gonna make her bleed. When I was fighting Radon, I made him freeze and I made him bleed. Look, I'm not saying that you have to always run a bleed, a madness, a frost weapon, any of that stuff, but I'm just saying you might want to consider them because they're really, really good in this game. Like really, really good for PvE and PvP. And since we're on the topic of weapons, I guess we can talk about weapon upgrades. I know a lot of you guys are playing the game without upgrading your weapon. Oh my god, it's still so many of you that are not upgrading y'all weapons, and I be feeling so bad. You guys are over here leveling up and you're confused why leveling up is not getting you the results you really want. Upgrade your weapons, but at the same time, don't spend all of your smithing stones, because you're going to want to use those for better weapons that you're going to get later in the game. Of course, you can buy smithing stones after you get the bells for them and turn them into the lady and whatnot, but I'm not gonna lie, they're a little bit pricey. If you want to sit there and farm runes all day so you can buy upgrades for your weapons, by all means, do what you gotta do. But if you don't have any of the bells for the smithing stones, or if you don't feel like farming, I recommend that you think carefully before upgrading your weapons. Think about it this way: if you're brick walled right now, you probably should upgrade your weapon. And I mean truly brick walled. I don't mean starting the game and going over to try to see if you can fight Radon immediately. Now, I mean like you've really explored your options, you feel like you've made great progress everywhere that you can possibly make progress. At this point in time, you're ready to proceed, and there's just something in your way where you just cannot get through. Maybe it's about time for you to start upgrading that weapon. I know I just mentioned the whole brick wall thing, but I guess you don't technically have to be brick walled. Say for example, you're making progress, but it's outrageously slow because of the fact your weapon just hits like a freaking twig, and you're not purposely trying to have a weak weapon, you're not doing a challenge run or anything like that. Maybe it's about time you start upgrading that weapon. All right, of course, if it's a weapon you're in love with, you can go ahead and upgrade that too. I'm not going to tell you not to upgrade your favorite weapon, guys. I know a lot of people ask me in my recent videos how my Hoarfrost Stomp does as much damage as it does. It's because of the fact I've upgraded my weapon all the way. It's at plus 25. And since we're on the topic of Hoarfrost Stomp, let's go ahead and talk about weapon arts for a second, guys. Now, I know the game tells you what weapon arts are, the Astral War, they tell you what they are. And I know there are plenty of people watching this video who already utilize their weapon arts, as you should. This is amazing. This is something that you should be doing, and I honestly kind of expect people to be doing, especially if you're late game. However, I know a lot of people who are probably looking up this video rather than maybe find it in the suggested video or anything like that, are probably genuinely new to this game. So I must tell you guys, newcomers, or maybe you're even mid game, because I realize this still happens to players mid game. I've tuned into a lot of streams, and honestly, I'll be wanting to say something, you know, I always want to say something, but at the same time, I don't like backseat gaming. But please, I cannot emphasize it enough, utilize the weapon arts that you have in situations where they can be good. A simple weapon art is square off. Basically, you hold L2 and you go into this stance, and then you press R2 and do a very nice attack, to say the least. The same thing basically applies to the early katana you can get with the samurai class. It's so simple yet so crucial. You don't have to sit over here and press R1 or R2 all day. All right, you don't have to just do light and heavy attacks. You have more sauce, use it, especially early on, because you want to get into this habit. And also these early enemies, if you're using something like square off or unsheath, these enemies will just straight up stagger every time you hit them with it, for the most part. Even these quote unquote bosses that you can run into. But those are just a few things that I hope you guys can really get into the habit of utilizing in Elden Ring. Of course, as mentioned, there are going to be more videos. I'm going to be dropping more tips and tricks videos, but I want to knock out at least 5. So as mentioned, if you guys want to check those out, make sure to subscribe. If you have any questions, comment down below. If you guys have any tips that you would like to recommend any players, definitely make sure to comment down below for sure. We're here to help each other out. Maybe I'll even put your comment in the next video if I feel like it's something that is very good. At least, of course, if it's not something that I already had on my mind, you know. But for sure, share tips, help each other out, and I hope that everyone is having a great time on Elden Ring, guys. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitch, hit me up on Twitter, whatever you want to do. I'm in this video. I always end videos terribly. We're getting up out of here. Peace.